Hi, welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2. We just finished doing the paint thing, and now we can paint our ship whatever color we want. So we're going to go paint our ship whatever color we want, because that was fun, and we got to do it, and now I get to paint my ship whatever color I want. Ooh, you know what? This would be a useful place where I just had all of the various art styles that we could possibly pick from. I want to see if I can find it now. Where did you go? Oh, it was on my phone, wasn't it? I had it on my phone. Let's see here. Serious paint, hollow paint, spindle paint, and the green belt paint. I think I'm going to go for the hollow paint. The hollow paint looks cool. Let me throw some cryo at the hollow. And now take a look at my ship, guys. Look at that. Look how sharp that friend is. That thing's sharp enough to cut right through Sumo security. Beautiful. Wonderful. Ready to go. All right. Hey, Azrael, everybody else coming in here. Hello. So, I got 4 points to spend because I did do the art thing. I'm going to... What's the rest of our crew like? The two people I'm most likely going to use are Cadet and Bliss, which means that I probably don't need another point towards engineering. I would instead want a point towards Intuit, right? Interface. Interface is what I want to go for. So we're going to put a point towards interface. There we go. Now we're super powerful hackers. It's pretty good. What's the drink of the night? It is my second round on the same bag of jasmine green tea that I had this afternoon. And I'm currently at a pretty pitiful 4,411 steps. I got to work on that. Have yourself a good night, Alexa Banana. Hope you feel better tomorrow. Alexa Banana. Alexa Banana. That's how I'm supposed to say that. Okay. We need more fuel. We have enough gas. We need more fuel. We have enough supplies. That's what I meant to say. And I proceeded to say not that. Whoops. Let's go ahead and drop some fuel purchases in there. Make sure that we're all nice and filled up for the rest of the day. And then I'm going to build an engine component because I can. 1 good. 2 good. Ha 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 ha. Got myself another engine component. I don't necessarily know if I need any more engine components for the rest of the game. It just feels good to have them. What can I say? Let's go. It's time for space time. So, here's what's going on. We are going to a special spot off-world called Oliveira, where I was supposed to deliver information to somebody named Carmen. I don't know. I was going to say a man named Carman, but I don't necessarily know. Ankita is our woman on the inside. She doesn't like how this big, nasty gang on one of the major space stations is currently being run. And that same nasty gang happens to be the one that's trying to chase me down and turn my body into some sort of lifeless doll that can be controlled at their whim. We don't like them. We don't like them one bit. So we're working with Ankita to try to take them down and take down the leader of this crew because they're real jerk, man. What can I say? And Ankita, when she last helped us, told us, okay, well, if you're gonna get our help, you now need to go to this place and drop off something for this guy. So we're heading over there. We're gonna see what happens. You find Oliveira exactly where Ankita said it would be. A ragged colony nestled in a crater on one of the biggest rocks of the shoals. Seraphin gets no response to his initial broadcasts, and so you find yourself in a docking tunnel, the rig at one end, the colony at the other, with no idea with what awaits you. There we go. No worries, Robin. How you doing? I need you to get back on that ship and keep flying. You freeze in the dark tunnel, a figure in front of you holding a long gun at their hip. I'm serious. Xander. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and as they do, you see a man, a boy, carrying a long, dark shape in his hands. I don't know how you found us, but you need to leave right now and forget this place. You glance over your shoulder and see Seraphin, his hands raised in front of him in a gesture of calm. Look, kid, we mean no harm. How about you go and run and get someone? I am someone. I'm Xander. He sticks out his jaw. It's you I don't know, and I'll decide who's gonna do some harm here. He reaches across his chest and thumbs on a lamp he has lashed there. You blink in the glare of the bright light shielding your eyes, and as you do, you see a flicker of confusion crossing Xander's face. He meets your eye with a look of shock and opens his mouth as if to speak, though no words emerge. Ankita sent us. You notice the familiar name register with Xander, adding to whatever confusion or question your appearance has provoked. You see his eyes taking in your sleeper body, his gun dropping a little as he takes his attention off of it. Is this? He looks between you and Seraphin. Are you here for Flint? He pulls the gun closer to himself. I'll be honest, kid. We have no idea who you're talking about. Seraphin allows himself to drift a little forward. So how about you drop the gun? We can talk like adults. As Seraphin floats past you, he gives you a look that makes you nervous. We're just here to deliver something. Xander? The voice echoes along the docking bridge. Xander, what are you doing? A figure appears at the end of the bridge behind Xander, a young woman clearly older than the boy in front of you. Found these two trying to sneak in, Cadence. Xander keeps his eyes on you and Seraphin as he speaks. Saboteurs, maybe? Was about to send them on their way. Xander grins. I assure you we are not saboteurs, miss. Seraphin smiles at Cadence. Cadence sighs and glides towards Xander. Stop messing around with that welder. She snatches the gun out of Xander's hands, and as she does, both you and Seraphin reflexively flinch. Cadence looks at the two of you with a raised eyebrow and turns the gun so you can see it better. You notice the fuel tank and welding muzzle. It probably has an effective range of less than half a foot. Well, so much for that. Ugh, excuse me. Seraphin looks at Xander and rolls his eyes. Seriously? Cadence lowers the welder to her side and turns to Xander. Now's not the time. We just got an emergency broadcast from Carmen and Flint. Something has happened. Xander's attitude changes immediately. He turns to face Cadence, putting his back to you as if you had just disappeared completely. What do you mean something has happened? I don't know. They went quiet in the shoals. All we got was a distress signal. Cadence raises her hands reassuringly. Don't get excited. They probably just had a technical fault on the ship. But we should check in anyway. We have to get them. Xander grabs the welder back and slings it over his shoulder. In what, Xander? Cadence sighs. They took our only functioning ship. The tender tide's still in pieces in the hangar. Seraphin gives you a nudge and nods towards Cadence and Xander. This is your chance. We have a ship. Xander wheels around in the tunnel, squinting at you in thought. Seraphin moves past you, approaching them. We need to see Carmen, and it seems like Carmen needs our help. He looks between the two of them. So, how about we stop messing around in this dingy tunnel and go get your friend? Xander turns back to Cadence. Them? Really? He rolls his eyes. We're not the only people on Oliveira. There must be other ships. You want to go looking? They're here now. Cadence looks at Seraphin. And they are generously offering to help. She smiles sheepishly. Fine. Xander folds his arms. But I'm coming with you. Fine by us. Seraphin shakes his head and looks at you. Come on then. You both turn and head back into the ship, Seraphin whispering as you do. What kind of backwaters Ankita sent us to? He sighs. Kid thinks he's some kind of sheriff. Nice to visitors, I guess. Ugh, sorry. Readjusting my back as requested. Tucked away in the shoals like this, I'm not surprised. What are they doing out here?
What are you talking about?
Xander catches up with you and Seraphin. His mood seemed buoyed by the prospect of boarding a ship. You wonder how often he gets to leave Oliveira. Oliveira?
Oh, you haven't seen the half of it.
Xander winks. Wait up! You turn back to see Cadence gliding up the tunnel. I changed my mind. I'm coming too. Give me a minute to grab some supplies. She glances at Xander. Just in case. Seraphin cuts in. I'll give you a hand. That all right, Sleeper? We'll be there in a sec. He looks at you. You pause, but Seraphin doesn't seem to be waiting for confirmation as he and Cadence head back into the dock. You were slightly thrown off by his eagerness to be helpful. This is the first time you've actually seen him be welcoming to anyone coming on board the rig. When you get to the cockpit, you notice Xander looking wide-eyed at the consoles and switches.
Cool ship.
He grins. Damian Wayne, I see it, sure. After a short wait, Cadence and Seraphin come back into the cockpit. I'll load it up. Seraphin pats Xander on the shoulder. Might want to strap in there, kid. Xander and Cadence find a place to settle as Seraphin buckles himself into the flight seat. All right, he turns to Xander. Show us where to go. We're doing an automatic contract, huh? Oh boy. You head out to the shoals, the thick debris field that surrounds Oliveira.
What's happening here, Sleeper?
Bliss pokes their head into the cockpit as Seraphin brings the ship in towards the signal coordinates Xander gave him. You look around the cockpit. Xander's tapping at the co-pilot console mounted in front of his seat in a haphazard way, while Cadence is asking Seraphin about how the rig works. Surprisingly, Seraphin is responding with patience and care. Does Seraphin have a soft spot for the kids, or is he does he have the hots for Cadence here? I can't decide. As excuse me, Seraphin, you're taken. They'll help us find Carmen.
If you say so.
Bliss looks over at Seraphin and Cadence.
Is Seraphin smiling?
They shake their head.
Something's going on.
Bliss turns back to you.
Ginny's working on the ship wiring and won't respond to my messages. She's probably in the walls somewhere hooked up to the main line.
They smile a weak smile.
I'm here. So how about you tell me what we're doing out in the middle of nowhere?
Quiet. Seraphin's voice cuts through the chatter. Is that? He gestures out of the debris field at a sparking, ragged-looking shape tucked beside a rock. Xander rushes to the cockpit glass. Carmen. A moment of tense silence grips the room.
That's a ship.
You and Bliss exchange concerned glances. This isn't good. Hey, Kid Obsidian Fox, how you doing? I'll bring her in. Seraphin's eyes are fixed on the wreck of the crumpled ship now. We don't know anything yet, so everyone calm down. Xander is silent, his face pressed against the glass. Cadence stares out at the wreck, her cheeks pale. So to be clear, we were supposed to talk to some person named Carmen, and apparently their ship is destroyed. That's probably not good. No one speaks until the rig is brought to a stop. All right, now we're going out there. We'll have a poke around. Seraphin looks between Cadence and Xander. We verify the ship. We recover the crew. Seraphin gives you and Bliss a nod, and you both push off and glide towards the back of the cockpit. Suddenly, Xander pushes off from the window and glides with you out of the cockpit.
I'm coming too.
You need someone to identify
the ship. To identify.
He stops and take a breath. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Xander gets the words out, then pushes on ahead towards the airlock. You follow behind, ready to suit up and investigate the wreck. I like how Bliss was just the choice. All right, the ship's busted. We got to figure out what's going on with it. Search the ship, reconstruct events. Those are the two things we can do right now. We have some pretty gross dice, but I think we can get some stuff done here. The simplest way to find out what happened is a full search of the gutted ship, but that's no easy task when part of it has been blasted to debris. If you want have any hope of recovering Carmen and Flint, dead or alive, you need to start at the wreck and work your way out. The search reveals railgun slugs embedded in the interior structure of the ship? Who did this indeed? What the heck? They put them in there? Let's push some of our dice here, get it to a 5, bump that up to a 6. Get ourselves halfway there on our own. And then see if you can endure a little bit, Xander, and keep searching. That's all right. Neutral outcome's pretty good. Bliss, I'm going to go for a run on you here, too. Let's see what you can do. I'm not using your ones, though. Those suck. Okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Let's take a day off. We got a good start on that. Reload our dice. Give it another try. Here we go. Yeah, we're still live. I don't know. I'm just so freaked out that that we're streaming at such a high bit rate right now. But
I don't know. Nobody seems to be like yelling at me, so it's probably fine.
But how was my Sunday? My Sunday was pretty good. I got to sleep in a little bit. I cooked some food. Watched more Severance with Marissa. Then then I streamed puzzle building over on YouTube for like 4 hours. Cooked. Watched some Severance with Marissa. And now I'm here. All right, we're getting close. Let's use Bliss's die here. Might as well use that 6 when we have the opportunity, right? If we can just get one more point from Xander here, we're on our point. We're like on our way. There you go. We got it done. You have a sense of what happened here. It's time for a difficult conversation. The search of Carmen's gutted ship has impacted the mood in the rig. As more and more evidence of an attack has appeared, the quieter Xander has got, and the more Cadence has retreated into the bunks. Now, with the search complete, you are gathered in the cockpit to discuss what's been found.
Come on.
Cadence floats by the door, hugging herself against the cold.
Tell us already.
Xander is perched at the back of one of the seats, flicking at some hinged container he found in the wreck. Open and closed, open and closed. You start by summarizing the search, talking around the details, picking your language carefully. You describe the damage to the ship, but not the attack. You talk about the occupants of the ship without mentioning what might have happened to them. Seraphin quickly cuts in. What Sleeper's saying, gives you a look, is that the ship was hit with weapons fire. Badly. Then the drive was fired up and they attempted to flee. The drive burnt out and the ship, after hitting multiple rocks and bits of debris, came to a halt here. He takes a breath. We found no bodies. At the mention of that word, bodies, a shudder runs through those assembled. Then they're here. Somewhere. Xander has a steely look in his eyes. And we find them, whatever state they're in. He looks at Cadence. She nods back at him.
Xander's right. We aren't leaving them out here. Carmen made Oliveira what it was.
Let me try that whole sentence again.
Carmen made Oliveira what it is. He saved us. We won't come back without him.
She shivers and looks at Xander.
He would do the same for us.
Based on the damage to the ship, Seraphin begins. They're almost certainly dead. We get it. Xander cuts him off.
But there are debris trails leading away from the ship. I've seen them.
There are. Seraphin holds his hands out in a calming manner. But those could be from secondary explosions or depressurization. We picked the wrong trail and it could lead us in circles, cycle after cycle.
We better pick the right one.
Cadence has Xander's steely look now, too. She stares directly at Seraphin, challenging him to answer back. And that's what we'll do. It looks at you with resignation. Whatever happened here, you won't be leaving until you see its end. All right, we got 3 different paths to check on, I guess. Yeah, let's hit it. Do some dangerous work out here. Do some exploration. Piece by piece, a picture starts to take shape, but it doesn't seem to lead anywhere. Is this the right trail? Only one way to find out. One more pump up. The story the debris tells is clear. This is a dead end. The crew went elsewhere.
This isn't leading us anywhere, Sleeper.
Bliss's voice comes over the comms. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, but we have to call it.
You look out at the scattered debris gleaming in the sunlight. Bliss is right. The trail is going nowhere. If Carmen and Flint did head out from the ship this way, there's no way you'll find them. And if they didn't...
There are still more places to look.
Bliss interrupts your thoughts.
We won't give up on them yet.
You think of Xander and Cadence and how they must feel right now. The search must continue. Time to map some debris. With Deborah! Among the blasted debris, there are tools and supplies completely untouched. Who dropped these? Wow, Bliss is useless at both of these things, so it's time for another night on the ship before we try anything else. Hi, Draco. Hope you're doing well. Here we go. Boy, those are some pretty rough rolls, guys. Oh, that was real, actually pretty not good. 3 1s on my part? Come on, man. Gotta do better than that. Is this the right trail? This is pretty cool that I can bring 4s up to 6s now, though. That's pretty powerful. I like that. Let's push one of our dice, get a little stressed out, but gain some wins in exchange. There we go. Well, we hit another dead end.
The trail's dead, Sleeper.
Seraphin sighs over the comms.
It's going nowhere.
You have to agree. Picking through the debris has been nothing but an exercise in futility. And now, coming to a dead end, you aren't even sure there's anything to find out here at all.
Loop back to one of the other trails, Sleeper.
Seraphin pauses.
We're gonna keep going.
What else can you do? You just hope for Xander and Cadence's sake you find something soon. Give it a try, Xander. See what happens. Yeah, that was a good hit. Good stuff. But unfortunately, Bliss is of no use to us here, so we're going to have to take yet another night. Burning a lot of supplies. I hope it's all right. There's that 6, Xander. That's what we like to see. Throw that in there. One practice for a bit this morning, other than that, not much. That's good, that's good. I had myself a pretty good day. Cannot complain. Nice and chill. Nothing too crazy. Got that kind of exact sort of Sunday you need to kind of prepare yourself for the rest of the week. That's what I was looking for, and that's what I got. New location. Oh. Caves in the asteroid? Whoa! We ain't done yet, apparently. Forget the trail. If the caves are searched comprehensively, then anyone in here will be found. That's what we like to see. And Bliss can help out with this, so put that 5 in there. A little stressed. Bliss took a little bit of a hit there, but we're okay. We're going to be all right. Do it again. Sorry, Bliss. There you go. That was nice. Sandra, you get in there too, bud. Neutral outcome, a little bit of stress, but we're working our way up. The trick here is that I'm running out of supplies. If we have to do any more work out here, we're going to start starving, and that's going to leave some damage. I can hang out for one more bit here, but then I got to go. Here we go. Let's use that 6 to our advantage. Structure of the caves is becoming more obvious, as there are the smaller passages that might have made the perfect safe haven. Cool. You rolled beautifully, Bliss. That might be the two highest dice that I've ever seen one of my companions roll. A 5 and a 6. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Thank you. Drop them both in there. There's a light in the dark, flickering, fading. When the starward trail led to the caves, a little hope was kindled in the hearts of the crew. But after plumbing the depths of these dark passages, that hope seems snuffed out. Xander has struggled on in silence, only speaking to update Cadence on a lack of news via the cockpit comms link. But he speaks now, quietly at first, and then with increasing urgency.
A light, Sleeper. I see a light.
And with that, he kicks off hard from the wall and darts down a dark tunnel with reckless speed. You follow, but the tunnels are winding. You quickly lose Xander around a corner. You kick off from that same wall, trying to close the gap. But when you come around that same corner, you can't find Xander anywhere. And then you see it, through a thin slit in the cave wall, a flickering, fading light. You cross over to it and see scratches and chunks scraped out of the rock. Someone has dragged something through here. Push through. You push away some of the floating rock and squeeze yourself into the gap. As you do, you watch the light pulsing inside the cave, setting the cracks and shapes of the rock in sharp relief. You search those shadows for something recognizable, but the light source remains out of sight. And then you are through. You steady yourself against the wall and look towards the light. There, beside a fading emergency lamp, floats a body, its head instantly striking you as strange and misshapen. You know immediately this must be Carmen. His head is shrouded in an emergency helmet, inflated around him like a balloon, while an oxygen canister floats nearby, attached by a tube. His eyes are closed, his body still. You try to settle your gaze on his chest to see the telltale rise and fall. And then the light catches something else. Something broken and skeletal nearby. A face with bright eyes. Bright eyes watching you. Whoa! A sleeper. Another sleeper. They watch you with lit irises, ones just like yours. Their torn face reveals no emotion. They pose crouched, coiled even, like a spring ready to strike. Here's an interesting thing about Citizen Sleeper, friends. We have never met a fellow sleeper in either game up to this point. He doesn't look like he's doing too good. You were both frozen, unsure, afraid. Nothing moves. Your eyes trace the damage to their suit, to their body. They look broken, worn down, and you wonder if this is how you look to others. If they flinch when they see you, as you feel the need to now.
Carmen!
Xander's panicked voice cuts through the silence. He rushes forward to the floating body, and as he does, the other sleeper pulls you away from the wall like a statue coming to life. For a moment, you go to intervene, to save Xander from the skeletal figure. But the sleeper falls on Xander to embrace him, and Xander returns the hug. You float, stunned, watching as Xander begins to carry Carmen's body from the cave with Flint, the sleeper guiding him. Wait, he's alive? Whoa!
Carmen is stable.
Cadence comes out from the room that has become a makeshift med bay. She looks between you and Seraphine.
Thanks to you.
And Flint? Cadence pauses, choosing her answer carefully.
Flint is in there with Carmen. They seem to be functional.
She looks away.
If that's what you mean.
We should head back to Oliveira. Seraphine cuts in. He places a hand on your shoulder and steers you away towards the cockpit. Once you're out of earshot, Seraphine turns to you.
Did you know Flint was a sleeper?
No. Seraphine nods. He pauses.
I don't want to be suspicious. I was just surprised, that's all.
Seraphine glances back towards the medbay.
They look different.
How? Seraphine sighs, unsure of his words. Just never seen a sleeper like that. He looks away. I'll go get her started up. He pats you on the shoulder and heads to the cockpit. Let's just keep an eye on them, okay? He leaves you floating in the corridor, unsure what to think. Flint is the first sleeper you've met since you escaped the program. And at this point, those memories are a little more than fragments and fictions. As the rumble of the drive runs through the ship, you can't help but feel a little concerned about what this might mean. Well, ain't nothing here left for us, so might as well head back. We got the thing done. You're left alone with Xander and Seraphin in the docks while Carmen is carefully carried from the rig by Flint, guided away into one of Oliveira's many tunnels and passages. Okay, I believe you. Xander shrugs his shoulders. Seraphin raises an eyebrow. Believe us how? You aren't saboteurs. He shoots you a sheepish grin. Although, you never know. I'd forgotten that. I won't remind you then. He winks. Tell me, kid. Seraphin folds his arms. Why are you so protective of this place? I mean, no offense, but we don't want to sabotage a tin pot colony in the middle of the shoals. Xander bristles at the comment, but controls his anger. You don't get it. Oliveira's a refuge. Why do you think we're all hiding all the way out here? He glances at you and then back at Seraphin. I would have thought you'd understand what's at stake here. You've seen Flint. Seraphin pauses, unsure how to respond. He looks embarrassed into silence. Look, Xander says, playing the peacemaker. You brought Carmen back to us. Everyone in Oliveira will thank you for that. How about you get stick around for a bit, get a feel for the place. If you need resupply, we can help. We haven't got much, but if you chip in, you'll get your share. He bows his head a little. We're more welcoming than we appear. Just don't expect to buy anything with those chits of yours. Xander puts his hands on his hips. Oliveira's not for sale. Seraphin shrugs. All right, kid, He glances at you. We appreciate it. Need to hang around till Carmen's back up and awake anyway. I think we'll be glad of the rest. I'll see you around then. Xander touches his brow in a salute, then kicks away, floating out of the rocks. Seraphin turns to you. A little shore leave doesn't sound so bad. Are we safe here? Seraphin shrugs. Safe as anywhere on the belt, I guess. He looks around. Hey, maybe even safer if Xander's gonna chase any visitors off with the welder. He winks and glides away into Oliveira proper. You're left floating in the docks, unsure of what comes next. Doesn't seem like Lane is gonna find you out here, so maybe this is the perfect time to take a breather. At least until you can bring on Kita's drive to Carmen. You turn that little thumbnail drive over in your pocket. Time to see what Oliveira has to offer. The Oliveira Clinic. Carmen's in recovery, and Oliveira will have to navigate a coming crisis without a steady hand. As you leave the rig, you find a figure waiting for you in the docking tunnel. You think of Xander's hostile greeting when you first arrived. Is that him again? Oh, it's Flint. Boy, I have to decide what that sounds like.
Where are you headed?
Flint leans away from the wall, now to the battered suit you first saw him in. The damage to their frame is concealed beneath their overalls, but you're still aware of it, just beneath the surface. Farm stacks? Same. Flint nods in the direction of the colony. I'll find you. I'll join you. You float together through the docks in silence. Flint makes you nervous, and their insistence on intercepting you this cycle hasn't exactly calmed that sensation. Breaking the silence eventually becomes unavoidable. Why Flint? Flint stares ahead, continuing their glide. Ask Carmen. He insisted on it. The mention of Carmen's name recalls the image of him floating unconscious in the light of your work lamps in those deep and winding caves. You suppress a shudder. Flint gives you a sideways look, their mask-like face betraying no emotion. It's good you found us. They pause as you move both move through a doorway. Could have been sooner. They blink. But better than nothing. Looking at Flint gives you an unsettling feeling, like catching your own reflection in a polished hull plate. Is this what others feel like when they speak with you? watching for the crooked mask, the lit irises, for signs of human emotion, interpreting the stuttering emulations of facial expressions as they cross your doll-like face. Flynn turns away again, and you realize you might feel the same look. They might feel the same looking at you. Each other's the mirror. Each reminding the other of the gap between being and being seen. What happened out there? Flint pauses. I made a mistake. One I won't make again. They frown and stare forward, offering nothing more. You arrive together at the winding entryway to the farm stacks, the gulping pulse of irrigation pipes humming in the walls. So, Sleeper. Flint's face curls in amusement as he uses the mononym everyone refers to you by. Oliveira asks all of those it harbors to contribute to the colony. Show me what you can do. Farm! Oh, that was a terrible roll. You and Flint join the farmers in the operations bay of the stacks, listening in on the shift's opening huddle. Jobs are assigned, fields discussed, and repairs prioritized. You go to work with the others, clambering into the guts of one of the stacks to repair an irrigation pipe, then joining another team running a chemical analysis of the crop. The stacks pulse around you, feeding their crop of kelp, algae, tubers, leaves, and roots. As they do, you find yourself borne away in the rhythm of work. But while you work, you also feel tiny points of friction with the other workers. Glances and mistakes, pauses and hesitations that leave you feeling marked out somehow. You take a moment to rest, staring up at the green glow of the stacks. Something makes you look to one side, a glint that catches your eye, and there's Flint, taking a rest of their own. You see a glint again, Flint turning something over in their fingers, watching it spin. A vial of stabilizer. My last vial. Flint speaks without taking their eyes off the drug. Even through the haze of your lost memories, you can recall the fizzing, sickening pulse of that injection. The dependence your reboot freed you from. Yeah, so a little bit of background about the sleepers again, friends, if this is your first time experiencing this. Sleepers are robotic people who have copies of other people's memory, or like identity, essentially. Personality, maybe, I guess. The intellectual rights of one person's brain have been copied into a robot's mind, emulated, and enslaved. Every sleeper is built for the purpose of horrific labor done by one particular corporation called S&ARP. Some sleepers manage to escape the clutches of the corporation that make them. However, their bodies are not designed to survive away from the corporation. In each sleeper is a feature called planned obsolescence, which means that if they spend too much time away from receiving repeated injections of a certain stabilizer, their bodies will fall apart and they will rot away into nothingness. In the first game, we had to constantly buy stabilizer and find different sources for it in order to keep ourselves alive. In this game, our sleeper has managed to find a way to reboot their software, ensuring that the planned obsolescence was disabled. And so this is actually one thing we do not share with the sleeper. Saving it for a special occasion. Flint pockets the vial and meets your eye. You don't need a stabilizer, do you? Flint moves away from the wall they were resting against. I noticed you were different from the first moment we met, but I didn't realize what it was until now. The way you work, the way you move, without dependence. I see it now. Flint folds their arms. Sure, I'll tell them about it. You tell them about the process you and Seraphim attempted on Darkseid, the one that Lane interrupted. They listen absent-mindedly, watching the workers instead of you. That's not all, though, is it? Flint meets your eye. There's something wrong with you. More than just your decaying frame. Your signal, your presence, it smells different. Lane did something to me. I have come to know that feeling
The feeling that I am an object, a tool to be molded, to be shaped for someone else's use. Here in Oliveira, people are different.
Flint looks out at the workers.
But I still know who I am, what I bring to this place. All of these people are at risk because of me. That means you too are a risk to your crew, to me, and more importantly, to this place. That is what is worrying me. Oliveira will welcome you, just as it welcomed me.
Flint stretches.
And it will do so in spite of itself and its own safety. I want you to know that, because they will pay the cost, those close to you, and you must know that they pay it for you.
With that, Flint turns and glides away, leaving no space for a response. You watch them leave, their billowing cloak revealing and concealing the glinting and ragged parts of their exposed skeleton as they go. Whoo, baby. Tough business. We need more fuel. We don't need scrap. We need fuel. And food, actually. Prepares the colony's produce. Extract fuel for your own use, but you have to oversee the complex automated process yourself. Let's grab some fuel. Put a 4 in, make it a 6. Stream had paused, but the audio was good. Weird. I don't know. You start to master the extraction process and your yields are improving. Good, because I think that should be okay for now. What we do need, though, are more supplies. The Oliveira colonists allow you to gather supplies, but you have to harvest, pack, and process them yourself, which can be exhausting. There we go. You put together a crate of supplies from the stacks, making the most of the produce on offer. Let's get another set. All right, see you, Faj. Have yourself a good night. That was a pretty good run of it right there. We've got fuel and we've got supplies once again. I'm feeling a little bit better about the situation. And we're going to immediately drop one of those supplies in to give it to the kitties. I'm going to tell my team to scavenge for some supplies here. The sound of raised voices echoes through the tunnel. Following them, you find yourself at the entrance to the clinic, where Flint and Xander are locked in a bitter argument.
I won't take you out there, Flint. Xander's pleading with the sleeper. Look what happened to Carmen, they'll kill you.
What happened to Carmen is exactly why I have to go. They will find me here. And when that happens...
The whole colony can hear you two. Seraphin comes out of the clinic with cadence. You trying to wake up Carmen? You see Seraphin clock you, standing in the passageway. Your eyes meet and Seraphin looks away. Neither of you seen each other since you brought Carmen back to Oliveira.
I'm trying to make sure what happened to Carmen doesn't happen to anyone else.
Flint folds their arms.
I'm the reason he is like he is, and that means it's on me to fix it.
What are you talking about? You catch Flint off guard. They hadn't seen you in the passageway.
S and ARP came for me. That's what happened out in the debris field.
They look down.
You know what that means.
S and ARP, the company that created you. The company you escaped. The idea of them bearing down on this place sets your nerves on edge. You have long since slipped their grasp. Lane disabled your tracker in exchange for unwavering service. A gift that became a trap. But Flint is still on the run, and if SNR attacked Carmen's ship, they can't be that far away. You look at Flint and see the fear in their eyes. Your tracker's still active.
Oliveira is shrouded.
Flint looks toward the center of the colony.
Carmen managed to get a hold of the signal shroud and set it up here. He wanted to keep everyone safe. There's no way SNR can track me here.
Am I missing something? Seraphin interrupts. They can't find you here. What's the problem? Hi, sweetest Spitfire. How you doing?
It's not just about the tracker. That hunter found me in the debris field. They know I escaped. It's only a matter of time before their search brings them here.
Silence falls on the group as the inevitability of the problem sets in. Xander looks distraught.
You can't, Flint.
Xander says in a quiet voice.
They'll kill you.
Seraphin glances at you and Flint in turn, and you see his mind working on a solution. He looks away, frowning.
I'm sorry, Xander. This is how it is.
Flint looks dejected. Lest we get them first. Seraphin smiles an impish smile. Seraphin, what are you thinking? Cadence speaks up for the first time. We know there's a hunter out there scouring the shoals. And we know they're looking for you, Flint. Seraphin shrugs. That means we have the upper hand. We don't need to bring them here. We can bring them anywhere we want. Seraphin looks around to the group. So we get set, we prepare a little surprise, and then we wait. Flint is already shaking their head.
The hunter could arrive here at any moment. We don't have time for this. If I had a ship, I would have left already.
Then we can move you now. We take you somewhere we can prepare, and we work hard and fast to get an ambush set. When the hunter comes, Seraphin grins, we spring the trap. What kind of trap? Am I streaming tomorrow? I should be, yeah. Yeah, we'll play some more Metaphor tomorrow. That, we still have to figure out, Seraphin admits. But you have to admit, it beats going out to die without a plan. He shoots Flint a look. And hey, if we fail, the outcome will be the same anyway. Flint doesn't respond immediately. You can see them thinking it through, considering their options.
I'm coming.
Xander has a determined look on his face.
We're doing this, and I'm coming.
Look, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but this is the real thing. A bounty hunter's not gonna...
Stop patronizing me.
Xander cuts him off.
I know the shoals. You need me out there.
The conversation suddenly devolves into many small arguments. The location, who should go, how to approach the ambush. The noise grows. The old Solheim manufactory. Caden's voice rises clear and precise through the noise. That's where you do it. It's on a rock far enough from here, and it's a real labyrinth. You can lead the hunter there and get him lost inside. Caden's eyes are bright and determined. The place is full of old machines, ordnance. I've been afraid to scavenge any of it, so it's unstable. You notice Seraphin watching Caden speak, clearly impressed by the sudden shift towards decisive action.
We could bring the whole place down on their head.
Xander picks up Caden's thread.
I know the manufactory. It's a good idea.
You look between those gathered. Seraphin, stubborn and protective. Cadence's sharp eyes. Xander's relentless desire to get involved. And Flint, a sleeper like you. A sleeper in need of an escape. Carmen was building something here. A shrouded haven, a place that needs protecting. He may be unconscious behind those doors, floating amongst the wires and tubes of the clinic. But something of him is here, in this group, making a plan of resistance. Flint's eyes meet yours, and you know what has to be done. The Rig will leave Oliveira this cycle. You have a hunter to trap. Aw, baby! New gig, guys! They just keep piling them up on us, don't they? Now let's grab a little bit more fuel, because we'll need it. Oh, wait, I'll put a 4 on that. No sense on using a 5 when I have a stat that's going to get me +2. 12 out of 15 ought to be pretty good. But I do need more food. I don't like going in with less than 4 supplies, at least. And I might as well grab one more while we're at it. And then I'm going to go back to fueling again and might as well fill up the tank. There we go. Sitting pretty, friends. Sitting real pretty. I like this. I like that we've got a chance here. All right, let's go check it out. Oh, God, it's danger. I don't think we've done a straight-up danger contract before. Risky, but not danger. We're bringing Bliss and Cadet. Let's go! Corroded plates, twisted struts, scattered scrap. The manufactory makes for a familiar sight. Just one more ragged artifact from the corporation that once owned this system. Despite that, something about it sets you on edge. Perhaps because it also will form the crucible for your attempt to take on an S&ARP hunter. The kind whose entire job is to bring in escaped sleepers like you. Dead or alive. The rig is tucked behind a rock, running on low power with its transponder off. You hope that's enough not to draw attention. So talk us through it. Seraphim turns back to Flint, Cadence, and Xander, all of whom are crammed into the cockpit along with your crew.
Well, we have to make this place look like a colony. That is what the hunter will expect.
Cadence suggests first, her voice quavering a little with anxiety.
We can seal up some of the holes, maybe install some lighting, fake it up.
Okay. Seraphim nods reassuringly. That's good. What then?
We force them to go deep.
Xander cuts in and immediately everyone looks at him. He pauses, a little intimidated by the attention. But Flint nods at him to continue.
I've been out there before at a salvage run. There's an assembly line that runs through the whole place filled with old manufacturing machines. We seal doors, activate machines, make it a maze of malfunctioning construction arms and dead ends.
All right then, control their route. I like it. Seraphim smiles at Xander. He just wants to be a dad, guys. He just loves being a dad to these kiddos. Up to this point, he's always been such a curmudgeon about stuff like this, but he really wants to help.
And if we get lucky, maybe one of those old machines will do the job for us.
I doubt it.
Flint joins in.
We'll need the ordnance from the silos. Mining charges, fuel, whatever is left from when this place was churning out Solheim goods.
They furrow their brow.
We blow the place, to make sure.
A silence passes through the cockpit, the danger of what you're about to attempt dawning on everyone present.
Okay.
Seraphim has a dark look.
That's the plan. We can detonate the ordnance with a command from the rig. A simple wideband comm signal. We'll get him.
Seraphim pats Flint on the shoulder.
Once they go in, that hunter isn't coming back out.
He turns to you.
Anything we missed?
What if they don't take the bait? He's in love with it anyway. And he's going to take care of him. He's going to be the one that's going on all the walks. And he knows he's going to be the one that's going on all the walks. But he's okay with it.
Then I agree.
Flint rubs their hands together nervously.
But then I engage.
Sorry.
I lead them indirectly, right?
Right.
Seraphim confirms grimly.
How long do we think we have? There's a lot of factory down there.
The hunter got to me and Carmen fast.
Flint looks out of the cockpit.
No more than 3 cycles. When the hunter came for us,
Flint grimaces, remembering the attack on Carmen's ship.
They came out of nowhere, hit us hard and fast. If it wasn't for Carmen, we need to be ready for anything.
Flint looks at you.
There won't be a warning.
The hunter's not Lane. No, it's actually we had a hunter on us in the first game. He was a sniveling little jerk initially, and then there was like a true blue big bad hunter tracking us down after that. These are specific hunters for the S&ARP Corporation who are going to take us down. Specific to take down sleepers.
Seraphim sighs. Nice pep talk. Flint, you better find somewhere deep in that place, down in the bedrock. But make sure it has a back door, okay?
He nods at the sleeper.
The rest of us will get to work. All right, you heard Flint. We do this and we do it right. We make our stand on this rock. Let's not waste a moment here. A moment more.
3 cycles, friends. We get 3 cycles before the hunter shows up. Okay. Oh boy, that's a lot to do. We didn't get great rolls. But it also seems like there's not anything that can necessarily go too wrong here other than stressing ourselves out. Ooh, nothing but worthless scrap and rusted machine parts. Time is not on your side. Yikes. Okay, let's give it another try. So we got 3 different areas we got to get done in 3 cycles, guys, or else we lose. We're gonna do our best. Some explosives are daisy chained together, saving time and detonators. Fantastic. Let's just keep pouring it on. Come on. Positive. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Prime the explosives again. There we go. Okay, that could have gone worse. That could have gone a lot worse. We're going to go somewhere else, find a spot that cadet can be useful. There we go. Sabotage the doors for us, would you? Neutral outcome, that's okay. Persistence and aggression get some of the doors closed. No time to waste. That sounds like cadet aggression. That was day one. No, that one isn't going to be useful to anyone. Do I have any spots I could get up to a 3? Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's give it a try. Since I can get 2 points up on interfacing, might as well give this a go. Nope, that was big bad stress. Yikes. All right. This I'm actually stressed about, guys. This is getting a little dicey. I got 3 dice that might die out on me here. There goes 1. Okay. All right. Okay, all right, okay. The good news is we got some excellent rolls. We got some very, very good rolls. The bad news is that I'm running now at a 4 dice run instead of a 5 dice run, which is not ideal. Yeah, Bliss, meanwhile, did not do so well on this end. I'm going to drop 1 in for Bliss and see if we can get a positive outcome here. Finish this off. Come on, Bliss. There you go. Beautiful. Do the dice repair kit? I have to fix dice when I'm not on contract. That's the problem, is I cannot fix my dice until I stop at a station. So I'm kind of stuck.
Go easy with that.
Flint's voice rumbles over the local comms as you secure the final piece of ordnance. You turn to see them floating, backlit in the entrance to the bay, one of many that you have rigged with ordnance deep in the manufactory. Down here, dust and flecks of rust float through the beams of your lights, and the walls are bent and buckled. They spent the past cycles here picking out a spot to draw the hunter down to. One they should be able to slip out of when the hunter finds their way in. It's a long time to be down in these dark tunnels waiting.
Looks like we are just about done.
Their voice is flat, their tone pragmatic. You okay? Flint nods.
Eager to be done with this.
They look over their shoulder.
However it plays out.
Flint glides into the bay slowly.
There's something I need to tell you. Something I think you'll understand. What we are doing out here is not about saving me. It's about Oliveira.
You struggle to see Flint's face with a light behind them.
I should be on a ship out of there, leading this hunter away, but they won't let me do that.
They shake their head in confusion.
And even if they would, they can't spare the ship. Not after Carmen got shot up. That was my mistake. I should never have let them persuade me to come with him on that supply run.
Flint looks down.
What's done is done. What matters now, what I need from you, is a promise.
Flint's bright irises flash.
That you'll bring this place down with me in it, if that means stopping the hunter.
I promise. Flint nods.
I knew you'd understand. You know as well as I that those who get close to us are at risk. That we, as sleepers, have to recognize what we open the door to. Carmen is my fault. I won't be Oliveira's downfall too.
With that, they turn and leave you in the dark. Hey, Amity and Lumity. You enjoyed the afternoon stream? Hope you did. Yeah, welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2, where we're trying to lure a bounty hunter into a death trap. We're trying to set up the trap now, and now we just, and hopefully can get it done in time so that we don't die. Or the friend that we've made along the way doesn't die either. I'm going to see if I can work on this one. Yeah. Better idea. Enticement! It would be impossible to seal the whole facility, but sealing key passages means good progress. Like, because you're watching Chris and Holly stream. No worries. How was your? How was that over there? Hope all is good. I think they're playing what, Ocarina of Time. Okay, let's stress this dice out a little bit. Pump it in here. Halfway there on this one, and we got our stress down at least, so we're not going to lose any more dice this round. That's very important. Let's get back to the assembly line and see if we can get Cadet pumping a few more dice in here. Cadet's pretty sturdy, so I think we can, Ooh, okay. Well, Cadet can only handle one more of those. Okay. All right. We're about to lose Cadet on that one. There's not much else I can do. I just need to keep pumping this. Just in case. Just in case. Come on, Bliss. Not a neutral. All right. Oh, boy. So some pretty not okay dice. Hop deleted your message, by the way, because there's this business where we try not to talk about other people's streams necessarily in our stream, but regardless. Hello. Okay. Let's use some of these bad dice and let's plug them into interface here, because I know it can get better runs off of them. I also know that's got to be me doing it anyway. Come on. That's good. That's good. Let's push that die. Get it to a 6. That's good. All right, Cadet. I need you to roll good here. I really, really need you to roll good. The Hunter's passage deep into the factory is assured. This might work. You float for a moment, observing the chaos of the old assembly line. The scale of the structure, the number of machines, the arms and fabricators, the welders and bolters, suggest industry on a scale that you've never witnessed. The Hellion system, a system that now subsists on the leftovers of its failed corporate owners, was once filled with manufactories like this, churning out components and technologies, machines and resources for extracting the valuable materials and minerals that Solheim existed to amass. If someone was able to rebuild one of these places, put it back into operation, imagine what it could be fed into the belt, what changes could come for its people. Yet, no one will undertake such a task because the system is haunted by the specter of Solheim, an entity that brings every being in the system can trace their origins back to. An entity that turned the entire system into a manufactory, machine for accumulation, and that did not distinguish between human and machines as it did. You look at the broken machines, worn down and rusted, crippled and bent. Some of them have been put back into use this past cycle as part of your plan, and those jerk or turn randomly, blindly groping for components that will never be fed to them. None of them are sentient machines like you, so they cannot feel or think. And yet, you cannot decide if for them to persist is a kind of cruelty that radiates from the system that created them, or the indication of a new life, one that grants them new function, new meaning, and the possibility of something more. Creepy, right? Xander floats beside you, his voice hissing through the close-range comms.
Maybe the hunter will get spooked by those twitching arms.
He imitates the scattered movements of the factory machines. More sad than creepy. Sanders shrugs.
If you say so. So,
Xander gives you a look.
how come this hunter isn't changed to chasing you?
My tracker's deactivated.
Huh?
Xander shoots you a look.
Lucky you. Who did that?
My captor? Xander goes quiet.
I see.
I can't deactivate Flint's.
Sure.
Xander looks down.
But you know, maybe once we're done here,
He meets your eye.
they need your help.
Xander looks out the assembly line and sighs.
I like Flint. I'm happy to do this for them.
He turns back to you.
And I want to like you too. So don't mess this up, alright?
Xander gives you a hard look.
Don't let Flint down.
Xander kicks off and glides towards the exit without waiting for a response. You watch him go for a moment before turning away. There's still so much to do. Oh boy. Okay. Just trying to think of how we're going to survive the rest of this, friends. No time like the present. It's not enough no matter what. The question is, we're out of time. I didn't get the dice I needed. I didn't get the dice I needed. I was 2 off. Wake up, sleeper. Seraphin is in the bunks. We got incoming. You shake off the haze of forgotten dreams and get up. In moments, you're in the cockpit. Xander, Cadence, and Seraphin all gathered around the console. On it, the local view shows nothing. Not a single ship signal. A few objects beyond a scattering of debris. It's right here, I swear it. Seraphin jabs at the screen. A ship, small, but definitely a ship. Seraphin. Cadence sighs. You've been up a while. Get some rest. I know what I saw. He catches her eye. You look at the screen, its gridded view of showing the scattered signature of debris, like schools of fish drifting in a soft current. The manufactory is a noisy blob at the center of the cycle, one that dissolves into the background of it at its edges. Nothing. And then, there it is. A flicker, a flash. A spark of movement and light among one of the debris clouds. It flares, and then is gone again. You look up and Seraphin meets your eye. He reads your expression immediately. Seraphin slams a hand down on the console, opening the comms channel. Look alive, Flint, they're coming in. Go deep and be ready to run. He pulls his hand off the switch. Better hope they heard that. Then you see it through the cockpit glass, the flare of an engine, faint and masked, but driving a squat, dark ship out of the debris. The Hunter. The ship seems to idle a little near the manufacturer's asteroid, drifting past the dressed-up shell of the old facility. We didn't have enough time. Cadence nervously clasps her hands together. The Hunter isn't going to buy it. You look out at the ship, and it does seem to be hesitating, keeping to the edge of the asteroid's radius, not wanting to approach the docks. This place looks abandoned. The Hunter might just strafe the whole facility. Seraphin swallows hard. Need them to dock to come inside. You stare at the dark ship, willing it to move closer. Come on. Then you hear it cracking through the wideband comms.
Flint here. I'm nearing the deepest point of the facility. There's some serious ordnance down here. Should I go deeper?
He's baiting the Hunter. Seraphin doesn't take his eyes off the ship. The reaction is immediate, the dark ship shifting to the far side of the manufactory. It disappears out of view, descending through the framework of the facility's shell. Shit! They're entering in at the side! We won't be able to track them! Seraphin punches the console in frustration.
I hooked up some basic monitoring devices in the assembly line.
Xander calls from another console.
A few shitty cameras repurposed from the factory monitoring systems. Not much, but hopefully enough to tell us where they're at.
Cadence, Seraphin, and you crowd around the screen. Xander flicks between noisy black and white images and feeds of static. You squint into the fizzing dark, trying to pick out any detail. Then suddenly, you see them. It's another sleeper? Oh, dang. A shadow drifting beneath a flickering light, dark-clad in military gear, a long gun held ready at the shoulder, deathly pale skin, and their eyes gleaming through the faceplate, glowing irises. Who the hell is that? Seraphin pulls back from the screen. They look like...
A sleeper.
Xander finishes Seraphin's sentence. The figure disappears outside the margins of the frame, and Xander flicks through the feeds.
Where did they go?
You drift back from the screen, trying to think straight. The hunter is a sleeper, or something else. You replay the image of the figure in your mind, but it has already shifted in your memory. It is your face staring back. It is Flint's. It is the sleeper's mask of death. Sleeper! Seraphin grabs you by both shoulders and looks you in the eye. You need to focus.
She get down there.
Xander's eyes are wide.
This changes things.
Xander's right. Xander nods to you and then is gone, kicking hard off into the cockpit wall and heading towards the ship, towards the airlock. Seraphin gives you a hard look. You better hope nothing happens to that kid. He shuts off the console. Let's get after him. Go. Cadence looks between you and Seraphin with a steely expression. I'll stay here. She glances nervously at the console. Give me the signal and I'll send the detonation signal. She swallows hard. If it works. Seraphin looks torn for a moment and then nods. Let's go. You rush down to the airlock and suit up, and then you are out, descending through the rock-strewn void in tense silence. You enter the manufactory through a gap in the frame, passing through layers of twisted facility into the deep parts, where you know Flint waits in the dark. You say nothing to each other, afraid the comms will be intercepted. You lead Seraphin on, seeking the deep bays under the silos, where the ordnance waits for its detonation signal. If you can grab Xander, grab Flint, then clear the facility. This all can still work. Seraphin's hand falls on your shoulder, pulling you back. You go to speak, and then you see it. A torch beam lancing through the dark. A shadow drifting beneath a flickering light. Dark-clad in military gear, a long gun held ready at their shoulder. Deathly pale skin. And then their eyes, gleaming through the faceplate, glowing irises. The hunter with eyes like you, like Flint. The hunter is a sleeper. Below you, they push through the dark and broken layers of the facility, seeking Flint. And where's Xander? Seraphin and you exchange wide-eyed glances in silence. The hunter passes below, disappearing into a dark passage. You wait together, the moment stretching out, then descend down to that same passage. The silence is absolute. Suddenly, there's a flash of light ahead, bright and forceful, and a rumble that shakes rust flakes from the walls. You and Seraphin push off hard, gliding into the dark, desperate and afraid. You come into the low bays scattered with glowing embers. Scorched holes in the walls spew drops of red-hot metal. A weapon has been discharged. The hunter floats at the center, taking aim again, and you see a flicker of movement on the far side. Flint retreating. Before he can act, a slight figure in a suit slams into the back of the hunter. Xander. As he hits, the hunter's gun spins out of their hand. Grab the gun! They both reach for the gun! Yeah! You kick off away from Xander and the hunter as they grapple together, spinning in the dark towards a deep shaft at the far side of the bay. You spot the shape of the long gun as it spins ahead of you. As you reach it, your hand locking around the sculpted grip, you spin and raise it. You take a moment to steady your aim. The scorching shot grazes the side of the hunter's suit in a flurry of sparks. They are thrown away from Xander, unable to find anything to slow their glide. The hunter disappears into the dark of the shaft, leaving a trail of embers in the dark. You see a fear in Xander's eyes as they turn back to you. The muzzle of the gun smokes, glowing red. It is spent.
I've got Flint.
Seraphin calls over local comms.
We ascend now!
You look across to the two of them, kicking off from the floor of the bay towards a ragged hole in the ceiling. You and Xander exchange a single glance, then follow.
Cadence!
Seraphin is on the wideband.
Detonate this place now! Send the command!
There's silence. You ascend through it, through layers of the manufactory, seeking the open void of space beyond. You clear the manufactory, gliding into open space. A silent shockwave, like a gust of wind, rushes through the void. The silent rumble spits out a scatter of debris. You turn back, still gliding towards the ship, and see the shattered manufactory. Whole sections are bending outward, the framework shredded, plating tumbling away in shards. You look across at Seraphin and Flint, their eyes set on the ship, trying only to stay ahead of the debris. You do the same, fixing your attention on the rig and nothing else. The hunter is dead. Woo! Let's get out of here, man. You limp back to Oliveira, the mood in the rig one of deep exhaustion. But as the colony appears visible from the cockpit, the satisfaction of having run a terrifying gauntlet and come back in one piece shifts the mood. The crew's improved mood only becomes more obvious as you draw closer to Oliveira. As you come into dock with the colony, you feel a wave of relief. Seraphin pats you on the shoulder as you both wait for the airlock to open. That hunter, he sighs. That sniper is crueler than I could have imagined. What matters is we dealt with him. Seraphin nods. Yeah, we certainly did. The airlock hisses open, revealing the docking bridge where Xander first confronted you. This time, another more substantial figure waits in the passage.
I hear you're the ones I should be thanking for saving my life.
Carmen leans against the side of the tunnel, one arm clamped against his waist.
So, thank you.
He nods at the two of you. Happy to help? Carmen smiles.
I have a feeling there might be more than your rival than just a friendly traveler offering a helping hand.
Carmen! Cadence rushes past the two of you, gliding into Carmen with an embrace strong enough to leave the injured man off balance.
All right, careful. Don't want me put back in the medbay, do you?
Carmen pushes Cadence back with a gentle grip on her shoulders. He flinches as he does, his joke clearly holding some truth. Thank you for the hydration reminder. Sorry, Cadence smiles. Just glad to see you up. A frown crosses Carmen's face.
Where's Xander?
You're losing your vision, old man.
You look back to see Xander and Flint behind you in the tunnel. Xander smiles wildly at Carmen, betraying his happiness to see him.
I'll be just fine, Xan.
Carmen's words are confident, but his tone suggests he isn't convinced. You notice his hands are tightly balled into fists, as if resisting pain, and wonder if he should be really up at all. Carmen turns to look at you and Seraphin.
I think we need to talk. How about you two and Flint accompany me to the medbay?
Carmen winks. Flint pushes past you both and goes to Carmen, helping him out of the tunnel. As he does, they exchange a few words, but you're too far away to make them out. You and Seraphin exchange glances and follow behind them into Oliveira. Carmen leads you to a small recovery chamber in the medbay, where his bed is set up. A handful of tubes and wires float gently beside it, attached to boxy devices. Flint has already left the group, leaving just you and Seraphin with Oliveira's injured founder. Carmen meets your eye with a hard look.
So, how did you two end up stumbling in onto a colony out in the shoals?
He raises an eyebrow.
Because we're not usually open to visitors.
Ankita sent us to you. You see the flicker of recognition in Carmen's eyes when you mention Ankita. You produce the thumbnail drive, holding it out for Carmen to inspect. She told Sleeper to deliver this to you and you alone. Seraphin folds his arms. Carmen pauses thoughtfully.
That's a name I've not heard for a while.
He takes the drive.
It seems I should thank you again.
He sighs.
Perhaps I owe some explanation myself. Ankita and I used to work together a lifetime ago.
Carmen shakes his head.
Went our separate ways, but she turned back up in Oliveira. I established this colony as a refuge,
A way of starting again.
Carmen clasps his hands together.
A belt is changing. I'm afraid of what is coming. Ankita took refuge here for a short while. In one cycle, she was gone.
Carmen shrugs.
It's not unusual for her. Each one of us has our own demons.
He holds up the drive.
I'll take a look at what's on here when I'm able.
He looks at the drive with concern.
And I'll let you know what I find.
You and Seraphin thank him and leave the chamber as he settles back on his recovery bed. As you leave, Flint catches your attention.
Can we speak?
Seraphin pauses.
I'll catch you back in the rig.
He looks between the two of you, then glides away. Flint hovers, a look of concern on his mask-like face. What do you need? Flint gives you a curious look.
You don't remember any of it, do you?
Any of what?
Of how you got here. Of your history.
Flint screws up their face in a pained expression.
At first I thought you were hiding something, or you were intentionally avoiding the subject, so I waited. But I understand it now. You don't remember me at all.
Oh, no. You take a moment to think, to try to recall Flint. You furrow your brow in frustration, sifting through hazy memories of Darkside, and further back of your arrival to the Belt. You close your eyes and see the faces of other sleepers, panicked, desperate in darkness. I don't remember.
We worked together in the same SNR mining installation, along with the other sleepers.
He searches your eyes for a spark of recognition.
We weren't close. I'm not sure we really spoke. Very few of us did. But I was there when we planned the escape together. The run to the freighter, collapsing the mine shaft.
Flint stops, struggling to continue in the face of the blank look you are giving them. You feel an unpleasant itch, as if something is crawling around inside your skull. You can see that Flint wants you to recall them. To recall the escape, the installation, but you only find hazy sensations, and beneath them, pain.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Flint looks down.
I know you can't help it. I just needed to say something, to know if you really don't remember. Thank you for everything you've done for me, and for Olivera.
Flint turns and drifts away dejectedly, unable to continue. As you watch Flint go, you scratch at the side of your head, trying to remember to find something in the way they move, the way they speak, their mask-like face. A face that was identical to yours when it was first cast, but that, after cycle of wear and damage, has been transformed. Two machines, so close in form and function, estranged by experience. We just don't remember. There's nothing there. That's tough, man. Let's take a moment to fix that die that we lost, by the way. We have some rare components we could use. I know, poor Flint. Like, we escaped together to find a new life together, and we got nothing. We've just got nothing. There's nothing there. What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to help? Well, in the meantime, let's refuel our fuel. Nab some supplies. Looks like it'll be a minute before Carmen's ready for us, so just take a second. I know, it is a shame I can't fix that dice. In a way, I could, like, there's a way to take on damage, but it kind of sucks. I could sit there and, like, intentionally starve myself into breaking dice, but yeah, I can't do that. I can, it just seems like a really bad idea. I can't mentally do that. As you could imagine. Excuse me.
Thanks for coming up, Sleeper.
Carmen is waiting for you and Seraphin when you arrive at the med bay, looking a lot fresher. He leads you into a small alcove set up like an office, with an aging terminal on a simple welded desk and a small window looking out across the dusty rock of Oliveira. Got some news for us? Seraphin asks impatiently. Since you arrived back from the manufactory, he's been restless, though you aren't sure why. It's because he saw Cadence hug Carmen and now isn't sure if she's got a boyfriend.
Not to worry.
Carmen grins slyly.
I think you'll want to hear this.
He hits a key on the terminal and a file browser appears on the screen, showing hundreds of individual pieces of data.
Ankita's been busy.
Carmen gestures to the screen.
She's been scraping at Tsubo communications, cycle after cycle. Got access to ciphers and encryption that only the gang's leadership should be able to see.
He smiles.
Seems she's learned some tricks since we worked together. But that's not what matters. What matters is the content of these messages.
He taps a few keys and loads some of the data, which scrolls down the screen.
Some parts of Tsubo leadership have been getting ideas. Ideas about taking Greenbelt and controlling food production in the belt. About exerting power over Wellspring. Big ideas for a gang. But these Tsubo members aren't alone. They found themselves a powerful ally.
Carmen shakes his head.
Senate Stat.
Senate Stat. One of two corporations fighting a bitter battle for control of the inner system. A pernicious force, one that Tsubo are opening a door for in the belt. You can't be serious, Seraphin cuts in. They can't be that stupid.
I don't know what to tell you. At least someone inside of Tsubo is trying to broker a partnership.
Who? Seraphin leans over to look at the screen. You don't need Carmen's answer, and neither does Seraphin. Lane. Seraphin looks at you, shaking his head. It has to be Lane. Carmen looks between you both.
Seems like you already know something I don't.
Lane is a piece of shit Tsubo leader who thinks he owns us. Seraphin shakes his head. Exactly the kind of piece of shit arrogant enough to try to manipulate Senate Stat. Carmen nods thoughtfully.
My condolences. I'm starting to see how you crossed paths with Ankita.
We have a shared enemy then. Carmen pauses, his face unmoving.
I'm not sure you want this fight, Sleeper. Like I said, Ankita and I work together. To put it simply, we ran in the same mercenary outfit.
Carmen looks away.
Lots happened since then, but this message, this data, it's calling in a favor. And I owe her, that's for sure.
Carmen shakes his head and pushes himself off from the desk, crossing the room to look out the window at Oliveira's pale and airless surface.
Hell, after what went down, I owe you both too.
You look at Carmen staring out at the surface of this hostile rock and wonder what he sees out there. He established the colony as a fallback, a retreat, not just for him, for others too. But you get the feeling that Carmen knows any retreat is only ever temporary.